Yo, so around 2017, there was something that was kind of quite big going around on social media. It it was the recasting of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, I'm not saying they're doing anything about this. No, this wasn't an official thing. They're not going to remake it. But people were saying that since it was the 20th anniversary of the show, since it first debuted in the year of my birth, 1997, that they won that people were saying if it was remade, who would they choose to play certain parts? I personally, I got swept up in this because I came up with a few of my own, but I'll be honest with you, I only came up with about four. Some of them I just couldn't think of anyone, such as Willow Rosenberg. I couldn't think of anyone other than Alison Hannigan. She did a brilliant job. So yeah, I only really came up with four actors who I thought could play certain characters. But nevertheless, again, it's about a year late, but I'm going to give you my personal recasting of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if I did it. So, starting off with the lead herself, Buffy Summers, originally played in the original series by Sarah Michelle Gellar. This would have been tricky because you're essentially trying to recast a hero who has become iconic to so many people right across the globe. Yeah, so it would have been difficult. I mean, the choice I eventually went with in my head was Melissa and Joey actress Taylor Spritler. I mean, she's in her early 20s, so she's not she's at the point where she could technically play someone around high school or college age, and I think she'd do a good job of it. You know, she proved in Melissa and Joey that she could have a fun-loving side, but also have a rather aggressive side, which I think would kind of play well with the dynamic of Buffy. Yeah, so yeah, my first choice, Buffy Summers, Taylor Spritler. I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, but I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, the second choice I had up my sleeve was for the choice of Xander Harris. Xander in the original series was played by Nicholas Brendon. He's an actor who I personally haven't followed as much of his work as some of the other actors in Buffy, but I can respect him. And for his part, for the part of Xander Harris in the remake in my head, the part I gave to Canadian actor Dylan Everett. Growing up, I saw quite a bit of the Canadian dance series Winging It, and I did actually and since he was the star of Winging It, I kind of thought he would slot quite well into it. I mean, within the series, Xander is kind of a well-meaning guy, but is often kind of prone to slip-ups and being a little weird, which is kind of what Dylan's character did in Winging It. Yeah, so I think he'd fit quite well into that role. And I looked it up. He's around about the same age as Spritler. He's a little bit younger, but yeah, I think he'd do well in the part. For the third role, it's Cordelia Chase. Cordelia, she was only really around in Buffy for the first 3 seasons, kind of when the gang was in high school. When they all went off to college, she went off to the spin-off Angel. So, yeah. Cordelia, it was a little bit of a tough choice, and I'll be honest, this was only the one I came up with today. I just thought to myself, an actress came into my head, and I was suddenly like, yeah, I could see that working. The actress who I would have chosen for Cordelia Chase was Goldberg's actress Hayley Aranthia. Once again, a name I'm probably pronouncing wrong. Namely because on the series of the Goldbergs, Hayley Aranthia kind of plays the older sister who's kind of constantly making fun of her younger brothers, but also kind of trying to be the popular girl at school, but then she can be prone to times of generally showing her softer side, which I think would work kind of well with Cordelia, that she has to kind of be kind of popular girl at school at first, but then when she sees kind of how cruel and dark the world is, she begins to kind of soften up and even sort of befriend the Scoobies. So I think Hayley would play well in that part. just my opinion. And the final part that I had in mind was that of Buffy's watcher, Rupert Giles. Once again, like Buffy, this would have been a hard one. This is trying to. I mean, Anthony Head is a brilliant actor. I've seen him in quite a few things, including Buffy, he's in Merlin, and if you look around series 2 of Doctor Who, he's also. There is the headmaster, Mr. Finch, who's really quite sinister. Yeah, so this was kind of a particularly hard role to recast, and I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure about the replacement because it's a kind of different type of British. But the actor whom I thought I would choose in the Giles role would have been Mark Strong. I admit they're not the same type of British. Anthony Head is more the kind of London or English type British, whereas Mark Strong is Scottish British. But I've seen Mark Strong in a few things, such as the Sherlock Holmes movie where he played Lord Blackwood, and also in the Kingsman movies. And I generally believe that he could do a Giles or a Giles equivalent very well, kind of showing his kind of soft side and sympathising with our heroes, but then not afraid to turn kind of dark and gritty when the moment came. There's one moment of, no, trust me, you can do this, and the next minute, what were you thinking? I think Mark Strong could do that role very well. I mean, yeah, and so that's it basically. My 4 choices of whom I would pick for a Buffy remake. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen. I mean, to remake the series and recast anyone else but the actors, that would just be a major disservice. The original actors were perfect, and the show is brilliant. But yeah, everyone has their own kind of vision, and that was mine. And I think it will work quite well. Maybe not as good as the original series itself, but it's what I imagined. Anyway, feel free to kind of leave your own dream casting down below for if you were to remake Buffy, and see how it compares to mine. Anyway, see ya.